Hello, my name is Kate Winslet, and one thing you don't know about me is that I can kitesurf and windsurf. How can any actor not want to work with Woody Allen? He's an incredible artist and he's an extraordinary writer. I just knew that that opportunity probably wouldn't present itself ever again, and he asked me to play a wonderful role. I couldn't have been more thrilled and terrified.
When it comes to love, we often turn out to be our own worst enemy.
I think the most terrifying thing really about playing Ginny is that after reading the script for the first time, I just sort of sat completely still, thinking about how I probably couldn't play her, actually, and that really he ought to just ask somebody else, because I genuinely didn't think that I knew what to do. And then I kind of had to have a good, sharp talk with myself and tell myself to, you know, get it together and just toughen up. And I just wanted to do my best possible work. And I sort of got it into my head as well that as long as I made myself bulletproof, I'd be able to cope with whatever was thrown at me. I did a lot of homework, and I learnt actually the majority of my dialogue quite far out before we started shooting, just because I knew that that would be one less thing for me to think about. I just was determined to do my best. Woody Allen actually does give quite a lot of direction, and I think that people, you know, hear these stories of he doesn't really talk to the actors and he doesn't rehearse very much. And actually, we really found it was quite the opposite. We didn't rehearse before we started shooting, but on the day, we would absolutely rehearse in the morning. The morning almost was pretty much dedicated to rehearsal. And yes, he does give direction, very clear, precise direction, and often he gives direction about rhythm, because obviously he's a musician and he can feel if something is just going on too long or it's too slow or it's actually too fast. And sometimes the pace of a scene or just the pace of a moment can absolutely convey an emotion, certainly in, I think, Woody Allen films, or the spaces between the people or the spaces between the lines. And sometimes the speed at which a scene goes adds to the emotion as well. And so I really knew I had to listen to him on that front, because he would know better than anybody else. And he was also, I have to say, very, very approachable. So if I ever felt like I just didn't know what I was doing, I would go to him and I'd say, you have to help me. I don't know what I'm doing. He'd say, okay, well, I'm here for you. And he was really wonderful. My favourite Woody Allen film is Annie Hall.
And why is that?
Diane Keaton. Just Diane Keaton.
Were you always funny?
Hey, what is this, an interview? We're supposed to be making love.
When we were shooting Wonder Wheel, we filmed quite a lot all over Manhattan, actually, but we were really out in the amusement park by the Wonder Wheel for probably, I'd say, 3 weeks, kind of scattered here and there, give or take. And it was about an 8-week shoot. Maybe a little bit more, in fact, maybe sort of more like 4 weeks, yeah. Do I have a favourite amusement park ride? The hot dog stand. I keep my Oscar on the back of the toilet. It makes me feel two things. One is probably more grateful than ever that I'm still alive, quite frankly. And secondly, that it's been that long. You know, it makes me feel quite old, but in a great way. And also, it makes me realise that there are things about the experience that I'm suddenly starting to forget. I have a great memory, and I've remembered a lot about the experience. And I say, oh, I remember it all like it was yesterday. But actually, someone said to me the other day, oh, don't remember that day when, you know, you and Leo were cracking up laughing and you had to do it 20 times and Jim Cameron got really frustrated with you both and you tripped over that thing. And I'm like, no, I don't remember that at all. Are you sure that happened? Are you sure that was me? Are you sure? Really? Me? Laughing on set? Never. But yes, so I'm definitely getting on a little bit, and it changed everything in my career. I mean, I've had some pretty fortunate times, and the first stroke of luck for me was being cast in my first film by Peter Jackson, and that he was very much on the up at the time, and he had a somewhat of a cult following. and that it happened to be a really extraordinary story and I was asked to play a wonderful role. You know, that doesn't always happen like that, you know. Every actor has to start somewhere, and often you hear stories of, you know, certain actors who have done 8 films but they've played the girlfriend or the best friend next door who had the dog with a limp, or, you know, there's always some sort of segue into leading roles, and suddenly, bang, that didn't happen to me. I was sort of doing that right away, and it could have gone wrong, and I was just lucky that it was an extraordinary set of boxes to tick, I kind of later realised. And then another turning point beyond that was Sense and Sensibility, and then beyond that, Titanic somewhat cemented things for me. And ever since then, really, I've just been very careful to always make sure that whatever I'm doing a good job, and absolutely making sure that I'm staying in this business, and, you know, hopefully going to be invited back again and keep the fear alive and keep the motivation there, which luckily I still have, both the fear and the motivation and the love for it. I still talk to Leonardo DiCaprio, yes, a lot. Out of all the films I've done, there aren't actually that many that my children can really watch yet. Maybe more about now. I mean, my daughter's about to turn 17, my son's 14. We've all watched Sense and Sensibility together, which is lovely. They love Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I'm quite excited because I think pretty soon I could sit down and watch Revolutionary Road with both of them. But I think they might have sneakily started having a little look at some of the films I'm in anyway, which is fine, you know. I haven't tried to keep anything from them. I just certainly wanted to kind of wait until they were the right age to show them certain things, and only if they want to. So, yeah.